I have a few girlfriends that were married with kids and have now chosen to be with a female partner, right?
Yes.
And like one of the questions they get asked in our group friendship conversations is like, oh, do you hate men now?
Yeah,
and they're
right.
like, no, I don't hate men. I'm just choosing to
Yep.
now, like, I've fallen in love with a woman. I've fallen in
Yep.
love with a person, regardless if they're a guy or a girl. And I found it quite interesting to me because I literally just had this conversation a few days ago. The first question she was asked is, do you hate men now? And it's
Right.
like, why do you,
What's
like,
that got to do with it?
exactly my point, right?
Yeah.
It's like we jump to this conclusion because we're choosing to be with the same sex that all of a sudden we hate the opposite sex.
Yeah.
That makes no sense to me at all.
No, it's totally weird. Like I have, as you know, my sister's lesbian. I have like 4 or 5, depending on who you speak to, other lesbians in my family. And 2 of those, one in particular, she knows who I'm talking about, my cousin Louise, she had a man, she got married at a pretty young age, like 25 or something, had 3 kids, 3 young boys who are legends, cool little dudes. They're all grown up now. And then I think it's like age 35 or something, she broke up with her husband and found a female partner. And now they live together as, a couple, and the boys live with them and they're raised by them. And she's still friends with her ex, as far as I know. And she's not a man hater at all. There's so many different variations on, relationships, and everyone should just be cool with it as long as no one's harming anyone or, doing any damage to kids or anything like that. I think everyone's pretty open-minded these days. Where is this narrative coming from feminists that the whole world's out to get them?
Yes, I think that's the point of it, is this judgment of other people. Yeah. In particular men. Where is all this judgment coming from, right? This is the problem with cyberbullying and trolling, is this judgment on others of our own beliefs and what we believe, and we're projecting that onto other people. We don't have a right to project our beliefs. We have a right to share them.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make them better than anyone else's.
Yeah, and that's it. And it's on cyberbullying, it's okay, the internet is a disgusting place. It always has been. The internet has been a place where keyboard warriors can get online in their underwear in their mum's basement and have a voice and have people actually pay attention to them, because they're losers that no one pays attention to in real life because their opinions are ridiculous. Clem Ford and others get these messages from 12-year-old boys that say, oh, you're a man-hating piece of shit, you're this or that, you should be killed or whatever. Horrible messages. Don't get me wrong. I'm not condoning that they write these messages. Yeah. And it happens to me. It happens to you. It happens to pretty much anyone who has any kind of public persona, right? But then feminists will take these messages and put them on their social media and go, look at the hatred that I get from society. Look at what people think about feminism. Look at what people say about women. I'm like, no, that's not people. That's a 12-year-old moron on the internet.
You know what's interesting is they're not showing the female messages of hate to another female. They're not showing those messages because I guarantee they're getting them. I get just as many female hating messages, probably more than men ones.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. That's a really good point. I've never seen any of these feminists put up any messages from women.
Yep, because
That's
I'm sure I'm sure they've got them. So isn't it interesting what we choose to share to basically instill our own beliefs?
Yep, and further our own beliefs. And you know why? Because these feminists, they either have a book to sell, or they have a talk, or they have a video series, or they have their Instagram where they sell stuff. They make money off this narrative. So
now you mention it, Dean. I have a book. No, I'm just kidding.
Do you? Really? Of course you do. What? Another goddess book? It's all right. You can give it a plug. I don't care.
Oh, no, I'm joking. No, I'm working on a book about resilience, actually.
Oh, there you go. Well, if anyone should be writing a book about resilience, it's you.
Yeah, I've learned a lot.
But you know what I'm saying, though? It's these people, they have something to sell. They have a book, or they have this, or they have that. So
a hidden agenda.
The more they drum up this hatred or this narrative or this idea, the patriarchy is, oppressing every woman in every corner. You're just getting held down by men. that sells more books, that sells
Mm-hmm.
more podcasts, that sells more dildos or whatever it might be they're selling that week.
But also, like, you know, coming out of, you know, an abusive relationship, I did go through a period of men hating, right? Like when you go through a bad breakup, vice versa, I think a lot of people go through a opposite gender hating because of a bad relationship experience. You know, that's different to creating a belief system around that, right? That's just
true.
an up and down emotional kind of regulation thing.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I guess I'm trying to think if I, when I go through a breakup,
well, you've been married before me.
Yeah, and my wife cheated on me with one of my best friends. But I don't know if I hated women after that. I definitely went on a rampage and tried to have sex with as many women as possible. I think if anything, it made me like them more.
Okay, so we all have our way of dealing with
That's
things,
how I
right?
dealt with it. I think it actually was a bit of a reaction, and it wasn't that I didn't like women. It was I felt very I felt insecure. I was all of a sudden had the rug pulled out from under me. I was committed to this woman for 10 years, and all of a sudden she cheated on me with another guy. So I felt like I wasn't sexually attractive. I felt, you know, like I was worthless. To prove. I think I had something to prove, and I think I wanted other women to be attracted to me to prove to myself, or to some weird psychological thing where, this woman wants to have sex with me, I must have value.
But see, that's a different intention, Dean, to wanting to control women or force women to do anything.
Totally.
Because it's all about intention, right?
Yeah.
Your intention was an internal intention.
It's putting women up on a pedestal going, I'm desperate for your love and attention.
Yours was like an internal valued intention versus an external pushing intention, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's a funny one, that one. It's a funny one. I guess we all go through our phases, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
And as you get older, and that's the great thing about you getting pregnant at this age, I think you're pretty well adjusted. 38. There you go. That's amazing. That's so cool. I'm so happy for you guys. And you're going to be a great mom. Grace is going to be a great older sister. I met Grace, Tracey's daughter, and hung out with Grace a lot. She's a little legend. I got a lot of time for her. She's cool.
She is very
Grace,
cool.
How are you? If you watch this, actually, you probably shouldn't be watching this, Grace, but if you do,
when you're older,
hello. We have to go skateboarding together next time I'm in Perth, which will be never. So.
But you know what? I think as you get older, you definitely get more clear about who you are and what your beliefs are. And I think part of that comes with it, hopefully, being more open-minded for other people's beliefs as well.
Yeah. I agree. Now, we did have some questions from fans. So we threw out we threw a call out on our Instagrams to see if anyone had questions for us. Some of them were about feminism. I think we've kind of already covered that, but someone had a question for you, which was, I'm interested to know Tracey's views on the true essence of feminism. I sometimes feel, and a lot of female friends of mine too, think that it gets hijacked by things that don't actually support female and male empowerment and actually has the opposite desired effect. That's for you.
Well, I think we've covered this a little bit, but I think empowerment isn't about, as I said, putting someone else down or another gender down. I think feminism is about empowerment, but for both, and equality, and both being heard and understood. And I think that's one of our core, human kind of needs, if you like. Everyone wants to be loved and understood and heard. We don't need to make it into something it's not by putting men down. Yeah, and I love men. Always have. I've got dear male friends like yourself, and and I value my male friendships, and I also value their different beliefs and their different perceptions on the world and seeing things from a different lens. That's what makes life so great. They're not better than me. I'm not better than them. It's just different. Yeah,
and that's the essence of life, isn't it? That you have these beautiful feminine creatures known as women, which obviously not all women are feminine, but a lot of them are. I love beautiful feminine women. I love their femininity, their feminine energy. And then you have masculine men, and they just complement each other so perfectly. Like, what is wrong with that? Why is that a bad thing all of a sudden? But I guess that the other point I want to make on that is like, it's also become hijacked. Feminism has become hijacked by, even anything sexual about a man or a woman. If you say something sexual about a woman, if a man says something sexual about a woman, now that's considered like misogynist or sexist. Like, wait, what? I think sexual and sexism have been confused.
Yeah, but also this is about choice. If I want to wear tight-fitting, revealing clothing, like the dinner parties at MAFS, I can. If I want to wear, corporate conservative, I guess I'm wearing mum clothes today because hello, elastic band pregnancy. But I can sexy, right? But I can, right? That's my choice.
Yeah, and like, at what point are we just going to phase out all flirting? Like, flirting is about saying little off the cuff, little sexual thing or this or that, and like
banter is always good.
Banter, like more and more and more. Like, I reckon in the last 2-3 years, there's 20% of words and sayings and ways of speaking that we're just not allowed to say anymore. We just can't say certain things anymore. Like, stuff that I would have said like 3 years ago, even on MAFS and whatnot, which at the time was in line with the banter that we all had as a group. Like, we were some pretty raunchy people in that group on MAFS. Like, there's some pretty raunchy shit going down behind the scenes, like, that a lot of people don't really know about. And a lot of that was coming out on screen in the raunchy banter that we all had between us. And now I feel like half of that I can't even say. I couldn't say half the shit without being called like misogynist or something.
But you know what? Like, raunchy banter doesn't mean you don't respect each other. Exactly. We had a lot of like in jokes and things that were really inappropriate, but still respected each other, even though we're having tongue-in-cheek kind of fun and comments.
Yeah, it's totally respectable. Like, if anything, it's more respectable. You're not treating men and women as different creatures. We're treating each other as equals, and like, you have this raunchy little joke, or you have this or that. I was like, we're completely respectful. Like, I don't know. I just think it's a shame. I think obviously certain things should maybe be, banned, or certain words are probably, shouldn't be used. But I don't know. I hope we don't cross a line where we're not allowed to be funny anymore, and we're not allowed to have banter, and we're not allowed to.
Or we have to walk on eggshells around everyone.
It feels a bit like where it's going at the moment, which is bullshit. Anyway, that was a good question from that person. I'm not going to name you. I have another question. Oh, okay, so this one was pretty funny. And Tracey's already said, I said, is there anything off limits that I can't talk about? And she said, nah, nothing. We can talk about whatever. So this one's an interesting question. Someone said, I'd be intrigued to find out from Tracey if she'd ever consider having an open relationship with Nate or someone else. But I think they're pitching that question in terms of feminism. Like, is an open relationship okay in a feminist lens? And I fucking hate that word.
I knew you were going to blindside me with some kind of random question.
That's not blindsiding. You said nothing's off limits.
I know, that's true. I just like giving you shit about blindsiding me because you're so good at it.
You just like giving me shit.
I do. Look, I'm fine with open relationships if they're consensual and, everyone's on the same page and it works for them, good for them. I'm at a stage in my life where personally that doesn't work for me, and I'm really happy in the relationship I'm in. But I have no judgment on other people, but as long as it's consensual and everyone's on the same page.
Cool. That's a good answer. That's a really good answer. And I sort of had an open relationship with a girlfriend a few years back. We sort of tried it, and it didn't really work out. Like, it kind of worked for a while, but like, I was the one that actually said, okay, I'm sick of the open relationship. Let's now go into being exclusive and just you and me. And then it just, all the wheels fell off and didn't work out from there. So yeah, from my experience, open relationships don't really work, but I don't know. It's not to say it can't work for other people, maybe.
But it's hard. for both parties to be on the same page with it, because, you know, there's different limits to open relationships as well, right? Like there's different boundaries and parameters. It's not a black and white situation. So it can be a tough one to navigate.
I went on a date with this girl in Melbourne a while back, and we met up and whatnot. And when I first got there, she said, I just need to let you know I'm in an open relationship. My boyfriend's at home or whatever. He knows I'm out here on this relationship with you. It's on this date with you. It's completely fine.
How did you feel about that?
It was a little bit weird at first, but like I was in Melbourne for 3 days. I wasn't looking for, you know, a wife. I was looking for someone to hang out with for the night or whatever. Nothing long term. It was fine. I had no problem with it. But then the whole conversation turned into being about the open relationship. So it was like, I'm actually kind of just here for a hookup. I don't need to hear about your whole life story, to be honest. I would have rather you didn't even tell me about it. But she was a really interesting person.
At least she was open and honest about it.
Yeah, well, she seemed really happy. Like, that is the only instance of an open relationship that, to me, seemed successful. They seemed to be completely happy. They'd been in the relationship for like 4 years or something. They had I think it was Thursdays, anything goes. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The rest of the week, it was they hang out together. Then Thursdays, I was hanging out with her on a Thursday, was anything goes. So you get to go and hang with whoever you want.
See how they've got their own rules, right?
Yeah, they had rules in place. Yeah, and it was like, I think it was, you don't have to tell the other partner anything about what happens on Thursday. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday was like, we're going to hook up with other people together. So they're a couple, but they'll bring another person into the relationship while they're all present, kind of thing. But Thursdays were their anything goes night. So good for them. Seemed to work for them.
Isn't Brad Pitt with someone that has an open relationship or is married with an open relationship at the moment?
I don't know. Didn't know about that one. Maybe. Yeah. I think if you're with Brad Pitt, you probably assume it's an open relationship. Like, he's got that many options. Like, I know that's how a lot of rappers and stuff do it. It's like, yeah, you know, I think Snoop Dogg's wife, they have a deal where when he's at home and he's in LA, no cheating, no whatever. He can't hang out with anyone else. But when he's on tour, he can do whatever he wants. Brad Pitt probably has a similar rule.
Yeah, probably.
Anyway, as I said, good for them. If it works, it works. All right, that was a good question. I got another question here. I don't want to make everything all about MAFS because it was so long ago, but we'll try this question anyway. Someone says, I would like to know both of your thoughts on Charlene's constant comments to Pat to man up and be a friggin' man. She was so fired up about the comments made at the boys' night regarding women, but hers were far worse and more damaging, in my opinion.
Oh, that's... Well, you know, but this is the thing about trying to make someone be something they're not, right? That's what I see can be a little disrespectful. See, with both of us, we were never trying to turn each other into something we weren't, right? We just accepted, I always accepted you for who you were and vice versa. Yep. And I think in Charlene's case, she couldn't accept Patrick for who he was.
Because she didn't like him. She hated him from day one. Yeah, she was faking it the whole time.
Yeah, but this is the thing, like trying to push to change someone to be something they're not. I'm not cool with that. Yeah,
that's true. But in terms of Married at First Sight as an experiment, I mean, a lot of people, I'm not going to name any specific names except for Pat and Charlene because they were faking it the whole time. They hated each other. Charlene was not attracted to Pat. He's not a good person. He's a weak man who was still attached to his mum. Like, he literally can't iron a shirt without whinging for his mum. Like, not the kind of guy I would hang out with, not the type of person I would rely on in any kind of work or life situation. And how can a woman be attracted to that? And she was not attracted to that. And then she had a big go at me about what was said on boys' night and Patrick's more of a man or this and that. I'm like, no, in real life, that is not what you think at all. I'm not saying you're attracted to me, but you're not attracted to him in any way, and stop bullshitting. And on that's a very good point. What actually got said that night of that dinner party? So, boys' night went down. just so everyone knows, on the boys' night, a few things got said that maybe got taken out of context. For one, the producers came in and made us say stuff because we were too boring. It was 1 a.m. and no one wanted to say anything because we were all really gun shy by that point about what we were saying. We just want to go home. And the producers came in and said, they stopped the cameras. Tara, the head producer, goes, "You guys are boring the shit out of me. NASA, you need to say this to Dean. You guys need to say this. You guys need to say that. You need to say something. You need to give us something to work with or you're not going home." So we kind of ramped it up a bit and said a few things and started this story about, would you hook up with another girl or who would you do a partner swap with? Literally just so we could leave. Gave them something to work with, which happened all the time. Tracey will back me up on that. They would sometimes just stop the cameras and say, "Oh, you're not giving us anything good. You have to say something. You have to attack that person." But, so that night, one of the producers said to me, "Dean, go in and ask Troy about the little flirtiness that happened between Troy and Ash's mum, because those guys had a weird little flirty thing happening on the day of their wedding. It's a funny little joke. Everyone will have a laugh about it. Go and do that." I was like, "Yeah, that's hilarious. Cool, I'll go and do that." So I go back into the room and I'm like, "Hey, Troy, what happened with you and Ash's mum, man? Is there something going on there, So, anyway, that was what happened on the actual night. We get to the dinner party the next night, and what does Charlene say? Charlene jumps out of her chair at me as soon as the cameras start rolling, so she's obviously doing it for attention, and goes, "Dean, how dare you say you want to have sex with Tracey's mum?" And I was just like, what the hell are you talking about? Yeah, I didn't say that.
But I was reacting to that because at that point, I didn't understand what had happened on boys' night and the actual context. And obviously, once I understood that, then I got it. So exactly. My initial reaction was obviously to that comment.
To be shocked, as you would be. You reacted perfectly reasonably. I blew up and was like, wait a minute, stop that right now. I did not say that. And then in the edit, people in the UK, by the way, have just watched these episodes a few days ago. So you probably remember exactly what we're talking about. People in Australia may or may not remember this. But what happened in the edit was they edited Charlene's comment out. So what she actually said about me saying that I said I wanted to have sex with Tracey's mum, they cut that out entirely, which was a massive argument between me and the producers about cutting that out. But they did anyway. And then they put something else in. Can't remember what it was specifically. But then they showed me saying, "What? I didn't say that. That's bullshit. That's not what I said. You're lying, Charlene, you're lying. I never said that." Troy backed me up. Justin backed me up. All these boys backed me up and went, "Whatever, Dean didn't say that." But in the edit, they made it look. Yeah, they showed something that I did say. So it was like everyone in the country, everyone in Australia, probably everyone in the UK thinks I'm a liar because it looked like I was denying something that they just saw me say on camera. But in reality, what you didn't see was that I was denying that she said that about Tracey's mum. And that's also why I was angry, because it was inappropriate to say that in front of you, because I never, ever said anything like that. And for Pat to get up on his high horse and say all the stuff that he said was inappropriate and ridiculous and just lying. They were just lying to the cameras to get attention because they were boring.
Especially at that point of the experiment, because it was towards the pointy end of it. I think everyone was trying to be more manipulated by producers and trying to create more drama. It wasn't like that in the beginning of filming so much, but certainly at that point it was more heavily edited and mixed up.
I've been a feminist my whole life. But also, I'm a man, all right? I don't apologise for being a man. I don't apologise for being attracted to women. Why is that a bad thing?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people felt like they weren't getting any airtime, including Charlene and Pat, whereas you and I...
Because it was the Dean and Tracey show, mate.
Yeah, you and I were just being ourselves. So was Davina, to be honest. I know some people have their problems with Davina, but I actually think she was just being honest. She was actually one of the most honest and real people on that show. And so were you, and so was I. So was Troy. Troy was kind of himself. A lot of other people on that show were really sort of playing a role.
Playing the game.
playing the game. Pat and Charlene had no airtime. No one was interested in them. So they hatched this plan, and the producers got together with them and said, "Oh, you attack Dean, do this, and you'll get famous and you get followers." And that's what happened. The whole country went crazy for Charlene and her standing up to the big bad Dean, when in reality that was total bullshit. So,
yeah, I vouch for that.
So that's my opinion on Pat and Charlene. Charlene, you know, I like Charlene. She's a cool chick. I got no problem
with Charlene too.
And everyone was having fun with it. When I say you were doing it for attention, we all were. Everyone was having fun with it. That's what you do on MAFS. You sort of go, "Oh, that'll be funny," and you go into the hotel room the next night and you talk about what you're going to do, and you have a bit of a laugh about it, like it's a show, and you're trying to have fun with it to a degree. Like, it is real as well, but there's definitely elements of.
Come on, let's you know, I don't know if it's on the question list, but you were pretty mad at me after the final vows. You wouldn't return my phone calls. I was trying to speak to you. The producers were like, "Dean's already left," and I'm like,
"All right,
can I talk to him?" And like, I was really heartbroken, right? I was heartbroken too. And then I think we chatted later that night, like at the end of that, but you still didn't want to see me in person before I flew back to Perth. And
why was that, Tracey? Why was I actually a little bit cranky at that scene? Let's have a little look at that scene, shall we? By the way, how about we just have a little recap? Let's talk about this scene. I think I may just have it right here on hand. Let's just have a little look-see. All right.
Tracey, thank you for coming along on this ride with me and making it this far. From the moment I laid eyes on you, I thought you were beautiful and things were looking good for us. As I got to know you more and more, it became apparent that the seemingly solid connection we had at the wedding was maybe not as strong as it could be.
Okay, stop it there for a second.
I was feeling frustrated with the process.
This is quite a long scene. A lot of you have already seen it. Let's skip forward a bit to about there. Yeah, about there. Maybe a little bit back. About there. Play from there.
That I love you.
Oh, no.
That I want to grow our future together.
Very cheery.
That's it.
Oh my God.
I came into this experiment taking a blind leap of faith. I was so ready to find love, and I was full of optimism and hope. From the moment I met you at the altar, I felt a spark. Through the amazing times we've shared, you've opened my world to new experiences and accepted the parts of me that I've battled with for so long. But you quickly pulled me out of my romantic fantasy when you betrayed me. It was then I found out that love isn't all sparks and butterflies. Standing before you is a woman who has understood you and your BS, stuck with you through all your mistakes, and unfortunately, Dean, you don't deserve me. Shut down. I just can't continue this relationship with you.
Walk off. Throw the cards. Walk off.
I don't know what to say.
All right, that's enough of that.
Yeah, that's enough.
Okay, so that's what everyone saw on that final scene. Tracey.
Okay, can I share a little secret that happened off camera in the homestay in Perth?
Yes, sure.
So, and I don't think no one knows about this. So off camera, when we were in our homestay in Perth, we actually said that we might have been falling in love with each other, like for reals. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do remember that. I do remember that. Yes, yes.
So what we did have, probably more so off camera than on camera, was actually real.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
That? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And the more we got into it, the closer we got, and you know, things definitely did develop. Yeah. But that final scene, I mean, we had an agreement. This
We
is
did have an
something
agreement.
is something no one knows, and I'm going to drop this on the world right now. We had decided that we were both going to say yes, even though we had both kind of come to the realization that we were not really a couple. Like it wasn't really working out as a couple.
But we did have feelings for each other.
We had feelings for each other.
Knew that Sydney and Perth and our situations and where we were at in life, that we both knew that the relationship wasn't going to work.
Exactly. And it was all very respectful. We'd become really good mates at that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, we sort of knew we weren't going to work as a couple. So we decided, all right, we're just going to say yes and like just have a bit of fun with this and say that we're going to stay just for the story, which all the other couples that said yes did exactly the same. I mean, look how many other couples actually lasted after MAFS, 0. So you kind of just made a decision. We're like, yeah, okay, let's just say yes. And like, we'll just see what happens from there. And we made a pact where if you changed your mind and you were going to say, no, I'm actually going to say leave, you had to text that person and let them know on the day. So if Tracey changed her mind, she was supposed to text me and let me know that she was going to say no. I
didn't have phone reception.
So they stole our phones. They took our phones at the start of the day. And so going into that scene, as far as I knew, Tracey and I had made a pact to both say yes. Boy, was I shocked at that moment. So that moment, I mean, don't get me wrong, those emotions are real. We weren't faking that.
No, it was. And it wasn't like I did make that pact, and literally right up to that point is when I changed my mind. Like I wrote 2 lots of place cards for saying yes and no. It really wasn't a pre-thought out, I'm going to screw Dean situation.
But didn't the producers play a little trick on you?
Yes, they did. Well, like with you, Dean, they manipulated me to say that they were going to edit me badly and play all these tricks on me if I did say stay. That I was But
didn't they say that I had changed my mind and I was going to say leave and you were going to look stupid?
Yeah, they 100% played mind games with me that, are you sure Dean's going to say stay? Yeah. We're not so sure about that. And because we're isolated at this point, because I was sent back to Perth and we didn't see each other or have contact with each other, like it was really hard, right? And you're in this bubble and you kind of believe what the producers tell you.
Yep.
And I didn't want to look like an idiot again.
No, it's just fair enough. I totally get that. It's fine. Like, you know, and that's why in that scene, the emotion's real. Like, it was like being in prison for 2 months together. Like, not that hanging out with you was being in prison, but you're just in this world where you don't have control over your life. You barely get to speak to your friends. You can't tell anyone what's going on. It's like being in this weird lockdown. So it's super emotional. And that's the very last scene.
Right? Like through all those ups and downs, because we are separated from our family and friends, we only had each other to rely on and talk to.
Yep. And so when we get to that scene and then I'm listening to your speech and then your tone starts to change a little bit like halfway through and I'm like thinking, what? I thought she was going to say yes. No, now what? No. And then you like just changed it and I was like, whoa. So I looked like kind of pissed off and just upset, which I was, but it was more so at the fact that like, what, we had this deal, we were both going to say yes, and then you said no, and then so it was just so much emotion. It was hard all
around. Yeah,
I know. And then that's what happened after that. I didn't want to speak to you. I was just like, nah, man.
But we did end up catching up in Melbourne.
I think it was that night. I think like 2 hours later. Day. Yeah, but I still spoke to you on the phone.
You did.
I'm pretty sure I spoke to you on the phone that night, and then we hung out the next day or something. I don't hold a bloody grudge. I was over it within 5 minutes, but it was pretty intense. That was one of the most intense scenes. There's, I reckon, one of the more intense scenes, but there was a scene that everyone on MAFS saw that I think was probably the most traumatic moment of the whole series. And I don't want to get too heavy and too emotional here, but I think we do need to address this.
Oh God.
You know, this was, for me, and I think most people watching, was the most traumatic and emotional moment of Married at First Sight.
Oh, Tracey, my little lady, you drive me crazy. After last week on the couch, I know you probably hate me, but you gave me a shot. You're so hot, plus your brain is next level. Come on, show me what you got. We tied the knot. At first sight, it's so tight. And when we get to talking, girl, we stay up all night. It's alright, we're gonna make it through. It's just our first fight. Girl, I got your back. If you got mine, we're gonna be alright.
There we go. Yes, that was a very, very traumatic moment. I'm sorry that I made you relive that.
Yeah, thanks. Trauma.
If you like this video and if you liked any of the Dangerous Ideas video, please click in the link in my bio on Instagram or go to YouTube and Facebook and search for Dangerous Ideas with Dino. There's going to be heaps more videos coming up about all kinds of social issues, racism, BLM. I'm just fascinated. I love talking about that stuff. I love talking about all this stuff with you, Tracey. Anything you ever want to talk about? Is there anything else more that you want to talk about today on this episode?
No, this has been great. I always love our conversations. We always have good chat. You never know what's going to come up and where it's going to go. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see people's comments. Maybe we'll do an Insta Live and answer some more questions. But yeah, it's been super fun.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this chat. If there's anything more you want us to talk about on Dangerous Ideas with Dino, let me know. Make a comment, send us a DM. Tracey, you can say your goodbyes.
Much love, everyone. It's always been fun hanging out with you, Dean. And yeah, look forward to all your comments.
Yep, and congratulations once again to you and Nate on the baby. Can't wait to see you guys be amazing parents, and we're going to follow that journey. Please follow Dangerous Ideas with Dino. Please follow Tracey on Instagram. It's Tracey Jewelify. If you click in my bio on Instagram, you'll see the links to. You can follow us on either Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. The more comments, the more shares, the more stuff you interact with us, the better. Please share it around if you believe in it. We're trying to make some difference here. We're trying to affect the world and do some good. So please follow Dangerous Ideas with Dino. And as always, stay true, stay you.